trust me?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to give you my thoughts, my impressions on the pilot episode of HBO's newest show, The Last of Us, based of course on the very popular and famous video game by Naughty Dog. The series has got quite a few directors. Neil Druckmann, who kind of was like the co-creator, is on board here, as is the maker of Chernobyl, I believe. And it stars, of course, Pedro Pascal as Joel and Bella Ramsey as Ellie. Now, for those of you who don't know, it's based on like a pandemic, basically. Now, everybody calls The Last of Us like a zombie game or a zombie show now, I guess. And it's not, really. And I think this show starts off really, really well in the sense of you get like a scene. It looks like it's set in the 70s of like these scientists talking. And this one scientist, they're talking about like what diseases could end mankind. And this scientist turns around and says, not disease that'll end mankind, it's fungi. And then he starts talking about how fungi can affect you and alter your brain and blah, 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 and take you over and stuff like that. And that's the prelude to essentially what The Last of Us is. They're not zombies, they're like infected with fungi sort of thing. So it's something different. It's something actually far more frightening. And if you've played the game, you know what I mean. The noises that these clickers make when they come at you and stuff, it's really terrifying. So you get that little prologue, if you like, and then we meet Joel and Ellie. Then we meet Joel and his daughter. And it's set in, when is it? It's in the 90s, I think, 1993, something like that. And we get to meet them. We see their life. He works in construction, I think, with his brother Joel, his brother Tommy. And then we see this pandemic hit. You see the hints and everything, and then you see this pandemic hit. And then we see the devastating act of Joel losing his daughter. And then it shifts forward 20 years later, and we see the devastating effect that this pandemic has had on the world. It's basically post-apocalyptic now. Humans are kind of surviving in small complexes behind walls, all this kind of stuff, trying to protect themselves from the infected. There's very strict rules. It's almost like martial law everywhere. It's pretty grim stuff. And this pilot episode, we meet Joel and Tess and Ellie. Now, Ellie is being held by the Fireflies, which is like a rebel group. And they want to get Ellie to the other side of the country, basically, to like a lab, because they believe she may hold the key to a cure for this pandemic. And Joel and Tess are charged with getting her there. So the first episode essentially is the prologue, the setup, and then it jumps forward 20 years. And then we see characters like Joel and Tess, and we do meet Marlene from the Fireflies and Ellie. And the episode pretty much kind of ends before they actually really set out on the real main journey. But it's a great, great introduction, I think, this episode to this world. And if you've never played the games, you don't need to have played the games, because I'm here to tell you that I think it sticks remarkably close to the script, if you like, or the storyline of the game. I mean, almost verbatim at times. I mean, it's staggeringly done. I mean, it shows such respect to the game, and the game is a masterpiece. Now, I haven't played the second one because I kind of refused, because I wasn't keen with the direction that they went. I'm sure I will at some point, but I've always said the first Last of Us was, I think, one of the greatest achievements in video game. It was one of those games that, for those people that don't believe video games are like relevant art, if you want to argue, then you would show them a game like The Last of Us, you know what I mean, that would be so emotional and so intense and drew you in so incredibly with this rich and deep story. It was inevitable that eventually it would be a adapted to the screen, either the big screen or the small screen. And we have got it on the small screen, and HBO were probably the best studio to do it with, I think. The casting, I think, is remarkably good. Pedro Pascal is almost perfection. I mean, the guy just, everything he touches on TV just turns to gold. Game of Thrones, turns to gold. Game of Thrones, The Mandalorian, and now this. I mean, he's just wonderful here in this game about this man who is literally broken. He's lost everything, and he's just completely at rock bottom with his morals, really, at the beginning of this. 20 years later, when the pandemic has really taken hold, he's got really nothing to live for. And then, this relationship that is built with Ellie over their journey, sort of thing, is what we're going to experience in this first season, along with, I am sure, many, many thrills, scares, frustrations. I just honestly think this is probably one of the strongest introductions or pilot episodes to a show I think I've seen for a long, long time. Yeah, it's a bit grim. Yeah, it's a bit depressing, but it's superbly made with fantastic performances by Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. And I think this is probably going to be the highlight of the year in regards to television shows. So I'm very much looking forward to checking out every single episode of this. I probably won't review every episode. I'll probably leave it now and give you my final thoughts when the season has finished. So let me know in the comments what you think of The Last of Us, and I will, of course, be back with loads more content on the channel very, very soon.